turn into a season where Aldridge and Kawhi Leonard lead the team in scoring. But as you mentioned the other night, as Johnson scores his first time, Manu gives you a lift one night.
Yeah.
Middle pick and roll, but it goes to Joe Johnson in the corner, forced inside the arc. And Joe Johnson is 2 for 2.
Defended by Antetokounmpo. Nets are down by 4. Johnson, 4 to shoot. Splash.
Joe understanding that little bit of a switch.
3 on Monroe. All in the third quarter.
So good play here. Just go right back to it, and Joe has to make a decision.
Johnson sticks it. It's a 4-point game with under 9 minutes to play. Scraped out of there by Brown. Nets are running. To the wing. Johnson, 1 dribble and a jumper. Splash. That's 11. Nets will try to get into a set here with Johnson against Bryant. Goes behind the back. Beats him off the dribble for 2.
Good to see that ball for Joe this season. 22nd for.
Help from Hibbert. Mismatch, 14 to shoot. Johnson will shoot it and knock it down from the outside. We're tied at 70.
Well, when you have 2 in the first minute, you ought to be pretty good at it.
Just so you know, that's Jerry's favorite play of the game. He loves to jump ball in the NBA.
I know, we've talked about it more than any.
74-70. That's not a sight you want to see if you're Sacramento.
Well, Joe Johnson can be a handful. He doesn't have the quickness he once did, but his size and strength can get him shots.
And the basket by Joe Johnson.
This is an enigma. Joe Johnson? Yes, he did. I was going to say he has not scored. Shevers seems to have worked that out.
Joe Johnson pushes it back to 5. Joe Johnson
he just wants it.
Wheels around. Iguodala forgot the ball. Shot clock at 3, getting stubborn. His jumper good. And this is what Joe Johnson likes to take over.
From under Millsap. Joe Johnson, by the way, has 7 assists. Johnson squares and connects.
There you go. That's what that's.
Lopez. Johnson. Joe Johnson has reappeared. That's his first basket since the first quarter.
23rd in allowing fast break points, the Nets are, so not very good. Joe Johnson flicks it and hits it.
And that's what you cannot let him do. You got to make Joe Johnson.
Under 2 minutes to go in the second quarter. Stay tuned for our Mazda halftime report with Jeff and Campy. Joe Johnson.
Boy,
what shooting malaise, huh?
He's looked at 5. Johnson, the leaner, rolls in, traveled around there, but got home. Yeah, that's what Joe Johnson needs. You know, there have been.
Ball, 1:45 to go.
Run your sets to keep the ball moving.
Johnson fires. He hits. Joe Johnson.
You're going to shoot a low percentage. Can you get the second chance opportunities?
Knicks have struggled shooting the ball as Johnson drills that and ties the game.
Now, Mike, you can't get.
Johnson with 7 to shoot, the jab step, and the jump. Switch off. Iguodala closed quickly on Johnson. He sure did. Johnson got it to go, just separated enough. Joe's close.
15 points to lead Houston. Rockets do not have another player in double figures. The Nets have 3. Johnson squares and hits.
Away from you.
That's 30 points now for Thornton. Johnson against Harden, 12 to shoot. Johnson, bottom.
It's a beautiful thing to see.
Nets have been up by as many as 18. Houston battled back at the end of the third quarter. Johnson, a bump from Brewer. Oh!
Again, Lopez on the bench with 4 fouls. He has not been a factor offensively. And Joe Johnson trying to become a factor offensively. That's just 7 points.
10 off the bench. Johnson trying to work Bosch. Bosch hung nicely. Johnson, tough angle off the window.
Tough shot. There may have been some.
Last year, you would easily have, I would have said without a doubt. That's one where you just take your time and you get a shot in on the inside.
Joe Johnson has his first basket.
Nets will leave the ball. Joe Johnson
spinning, firing, and on the glass and good. That's too easy right there. Drop to Joe Johnson. Johnson against Butler. Step back is good. That's a big time move right there. That's vintage Joe Johnson.
One-on-one with Matthews. Johnson, the fade, knocks it down. Well, you each looping feed. Johnson, the back in on the smaller Felton. Johnson, the fade. He hits 75-73.
Such a terrific understanding of the timing of basketball. Johnson's step back is good.
And Brooklyn, a team with just 9 wins this year, but they've beaten some very good teams. And they've got a lot of talented players like 7-time All-Star. Johnson. High off the glass.
Made a career out of that one.
Joe Johnson from the other side. That's a deep 2. Jack Lopez. Johnson for 2 more.
Yeah, they misplayed that one.
Joe Johnson, a deep 2, and Brad Stevens has seen it. Gives it up to Larkin, back to Joe Johnson. Amir Johnson defending. Joe Johnson buries it. Johnson kicks it out to Larkin, gets it back. Takes the fall away, and knocks it down. 18 for Johnson. Has been money down the stretch here.
By Bogdanovich.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Jack, with that, he's absolutely right. You know, I've never had the injury, but you read about it. It is a grind to get yourself back as Joe Johnson continues to play smooth basketball.
Bogdanovich way outside for Joe Johnson. Nice pump fake and a step-up gun that goes. His first scratch. It's 39-32 Pistons. Backcourt pressure.
The Robinson screen. Sloan kicks it out. 10 to shoot. 1.5 minutes to play, second quarter. Johnson a fade. Yes.
Smooth. It's just then to secure that defensive rebound. Let's see if Joe can get himself going. A little turnaround.
2 minutes to play. Johnson hits from the outside.
I didn't like that inbounds play just then from down underneath the basket.
Johnson defended by Thomas. Johnson the jumper. He's got it.
Number 41. And the London experience, folks, it was great for one reason only. The Raptors came away with a victory, and that was extremely important.
Spoelstra, he's healthy. He takes care of himself, and he feels good enough to play more this year thus far.
Johnson using the Lopez screen. He cans it, and a foul.
And scored 32 points in the 2 games against the Lakers and the Warriors.
It was a bright spot. He put Dirk in position to hit the game winner, as you see Smooth Joe.
Help D, easy step back. Way too long.
Staying in front of Monte Ellis is so hard. You turn him into a passer, you've done your job.
Johnson connects. It's a long 2-pointer. Rebound. Nets break out. 2 men back defensively for Indiana. Johnson in a mismatch with Hill. Johnson fires and hits.
You missed that part of Joe Johnson earlier in the game.
2 minutes remaining in the first quarter. 2 minutes remaining.
Penetrating. Johnson with 4 to shoot. The step back long 2, and it's good. Joe Johnson. Minimum. Johnson. The fadeaway, and he hits. Adding to
Here are the Nets now out of the timeout. Carr Sampson in to defend Joe Johnson. It's been rather quiet, though. You take your chances when you leave old Joe open.
Sloan. 5 seconds left. Johnson in a mismatch with Nurkic. Fakes it. Oh! Ankle breaker! Joe.
Johnson will fire. It's in.
Tries to muscle Lopez, who bats the ball. He missed shot away, and here come the Nets trying to run. As Johnson pulls up short and banks it in.
He'll make that little.
Johnson, little crossover move, spun Vonleh around and hit the shot, and timeout Portland is back. No foul to give for Portland. Johnson working against Henderson, backs him up and hits. 3.5